This week was food sources, something so important. Something that I actually learned a lot about while I was living in Oregon because Oregon has a huge movement to eat locally, locally sourced things. Farm to table is very trendy. Um, Even from local breweries, finding out how to make even kind of life's indulgences like beer local and kind of go back to the roots. So um, I do admit I am really into food and cooking, and this is something that's really interesting to me, and I've never thought about it from an indigenous standpoint before. Uh, what are the indigenous plants? I never really thought about it, so I'm really happy that this was brought up. And that video from California, with all the maize and the corn and all that stuff, I never thought about those ingredients being necessarily indigenous, which I feel ignorant about, but super interesting. And it just kind of makes you think, what, well, at least me think, what else kind of originates from that? Like, how how have I passed by thinking that um, other ingredients aren't indigenous? Where have they come from? Are they non-native species? Are they invasive plants that have now kind of taken over? And is it too far more difficult than I think to find indigenous plants? So, I'm really actually grateful that you sparked my interest on this. Um, then you also have Dan Kinwin, or I forget his name, who's teaching healthy cooking in the Ontario area through indigenous meals and with indigenous ingredients. And it just reminded me of, I have a class with Nick Claxton. He was talking about how there's people who have signed up to do a fully indigenous diet for a year, and how it's reversed so many health problems and gotten people off medication, and how it's sad, honestly, that the indigenous diet has kind of died, and how people are starting tours and movements towards regrowing indigenous plants, um, regrowing indigenous species, and kind of, pushing out some non native species and plants and trying to work towards a more indigenous way that which could be healthier.